Before we became a digital health platform, we actually had our own direct-to-consumer D2C brands focused on, a handful of conditions. We did this in Canada, we did this in the US, we did this in Brazil. And each time we had to build our own solution from the ground up. So that meant finding like a patient intake form, finding an EMR, finding doctors or nurse practitioners, finding pharmacies, finding like shipping software for each country. And it's all different. Like what works in Canada doesn't work in the US. The legal infrastructure, the regulations, the way that doctors or nurses, or even who can even prescribe, it's different from country to country and even state to state. So because of that, barrier that we all just talked about, I think it makes it really hard for companies to enter this space, whether it's like an early stage company or even a mature company that doesn't have experience in digital health. It acts as like a barrier for more entrants. And I think that is ultimately not a good thing, because it means less options for patients to choose from. So I'm really glad that there are companies now like SteadyMD who are focused on creating a platform for clinicians to kind of be power telehealth and other applications. And I'm glad that pioneers like Lemonade Health and others were able to bring this to the forefront to consumers as a real option that consumers can choose. So now opening up the floodgates of both consumer interest and a place where clinicians can go to and be happy and compliantly staffed onto these different telehealth solutions. I think that's great because now enables companies like LockBio, or for us, we really focus on creating that entire end-to-end software and payment processing experience that the patients use directly, and it would not be possible without the pioneering that you guys have done and other great companies in this space have done. So for us, I can name a couple challenges too. I think what was really surprising to me as well was payment processing. That's a huge area that every telehealth company has to go through. That is not very robust, not where it should be. For example, anytime you touch an online prescription, it falls under a specific MCC code that most underwriters or most banks or payment processors simply do not touch. So you have to find specific banks that would underwrite for this space. And I would say even prior to the last few years, there were very, very few banks that would do that, causing the rates to be really high, almost as high as the gray area industries that you see with adult or cannabis, which shouldn't be the case here because everything is done compliantly. We're using, licensed doctors, licensed pharmacies, everything's HIPAA compliant, LegitScript compliant. So there are a lot of these barriers that are now, slowly going away, but overall, I think it needs, this is a space that needs innovation. We want to open it up for LockBio. We want to open it up to more types of companies to be able to enter digital health and be able to grasp, the entire thing from the end-to-end parts of patient experience to clinicians to pharmacies. And so what we're seeing is that a lot of companies that we work with, including large pharma companies to e-commerce brands to other types of companies who traditionally didn't have any knowledge in digital health, they're now counting on us to launch their brands, and we've done quite well with several of those. And it's quite interesting to see that many companies now have this option to provide an online storefront or online service in telehealth and digital health to their patients. So we're really excited to see more of that in the coming years.